The night I met the creature in the woods. Have you ever had one of those nights that completely change the way you look at the world? That's what happened to me last summer when I stumbled upon something I still can't fully explain. An animal so strange, so unlike anything I'd ever seen, that it's burned into my memory forever. It all started on a humid July evening. I was staying at my uncle's cabin in northern Maine, surrounded by endless forests, lakes, and more mosquitoes than I'd ever care to count. I had gone there to disconnect, to spend time away from social media, noise, and the chaos of everyday life. The cabin didn't even have Wi-Fi, which felt like a curse at first, but slowly started to feel like freedom. One night, just before midnight, I couldn't sleep. The air was heavy, the kind that clings to your skin, and the silence of the forest was almost too loud. Crickets, the occasional hoot of an owl, and the distant rustle of something moving through the trees. It all mixed into a kind of eerie soundtrack. I decided to step outside for some air. The moon was almost full, lighting the path that led from the cabin down toward the lake. I grabbed a flashlight, slipped on my sneakers, and told myself I'd just walk a little bit, maybe dip my feet in the water, and come right back. But I didn't come right back. As I walked, the forest seemed alive in a way I'd never noticed before. Branches swayed even though there wasn't wind. Shadows stretched strangely across the ground. And the further I went, the more I felt like something, or someone, was watching me. I shook it off. "You're just scaring yourself," I whispered. "It's just the woods." By the time I reached the lake, the moonlight shimmered across the water like melted silver. I crouched by the shore, splashed some cool water on my face, and sat on a rock. That's when I heard it. A sound I'll never forget. It wasn't the howl of a wolf, or the bark of a fox, or even the cry of a bird. It was different, high-pitched, almost melodic, but with an undertone that made my skin prickle, like a violin string being plucked and a whistle mixed together. I froze. Then, from the corner of my eye, I saw movement across the water. At first, I thought it was a deer stepping out of the trees, but no deer looked like this. Its body was slender, long, almost graceful, covered in fur that seemed to shimmer in the moonlight. Not brown or gray, but a pale, almost silvery blue. Its legs were thin, jointed oddly, bending a little too much like an insect's. But what struck me most was its head. Huge, dark eyes glistened, reflecting the moon, and its face seemed almost expressive, curious. Its ears were long, pointed, twitching constantly, and from its back sprouted something I can only describe as half wings, half fins, translucent and glowing faintly, like jellyfish underwater. I didn't breathe. The creature tilted its head as if studying me, and then, to my absolute shock, it made that strange, melodic sound again, this time softer, directed at me. My first instinct was to run. Every cell in my body screamed, "This isn't right, this isn't normal, get out of here." But something about the creature stopped me. It didn't feel threatening. In fact, it almost felt like it wanted to communicate. So, like an idiot in a horror movie, I raised my hand slowly and whispered, "Hello?" The creature blinked, then took one careful step forward. Its movement was both eerie and mesmerizing, like watching something part animal, part dream come to life. For a moment, we just stared at each other. My heart pounded so loudly I thought it might scare it away. Finally, it lowered its head slightly, as if mimicking a bow. And then, unbelievably, it stepped onto the water. I swear to you, it didn't sink. Its thin legs touched the surface and held, rippling the lake like glass. It walked toward me, each step delicate, until it was only a few feet away. I could see details now. The fine fur on its body shimmered like frost. And its eyes. God, its eyes. They weren't just dark. They were deep, layered like galaxies hidden inside. Looking into them felt like standing at the edge of something infinite. I whispered, "What are you?" The creature tilted its head again, then released a soft hum, almost like a lullaby. I felt warmth wash over me, like sunlight even though it was midnight. For a few seconds, I wasn't afraid at all. In fact, I felt calm, peaceful. But then something changed. A crack of branches echoed from the forest behind me. The creature immediately snapped its head toward the sound, its ears stiff, its wings, fins twitching. Its eyes widened, and suddenly, for the first time, it looked afraid. That terrified me more than anything, because if this thing, this otherworldly, almost magical creature, was scared of something out there, what the hell was I standing next to? Before I could move, the creature made a sharp, urgent sound like a warning. Its glowing fins pulsed brighter, and then, in one swift, fluid motion, it darted back across the lake, vanishing into the trees on the other side. I stood frozen, my flashlight useless in my trembling hands. Whatever had made that noise in the forest never showed itself, but the feeling of being watched grew so heavy I couldn't take it anymore. I bolted back to the cabin, heart hammering, and locked the door behind me. That night, I barely slept. Every sound outside made me jump, and I couldn't stop thinking about those eyes, that strange hum, and the way it had looked at me, like it understood something I didn't. The next morning, I told my uncle what had happened. He listened, then gave me a long, unreadable look before saying, "You saw it too." That stopped me cold. He explained that over the years, there had been rare sightings of a creature near the lake. Locals called it the Veil Walker, because it appeared only under certain moons, as if it stepped between worlds. Most people laughed it off as folklore, but the way my uncle spoke, I knew he believed it. I asked him if it was dangerous. He shook his head. Not to us. If anything, I think it's more afraid of being seen. I've thought about that night 1,000 times since. Was it real? Was I dreaming? Was it some rare animal science hasn't discovered? I don't know. But here's what I do know. When I looked into its eyes, I didn't feel fear. I felt wonder. Like for the first time in my life, I understood that this world still holds secrets we can't explain. And maybe, just maybe, some mysteries are meant to stay that way. Thanks for watching. Don't miss the next story.